Okay. I don't know either. All right. I'm going to present my screen. We need to finish up our King Tut activity and figure out if we think he was murdered or not. So. All right. So we need to go down to social studies and open up our CSI King Tut activity. You only need to open the Google slide for right now. Yes. Because that's what I said.
It's the yellow one, right? Everything's due at 3 p.m.?
Yeah, it has been for weeks. Yeah.
Wait, no, that was me. Which one are we going to read about? His lake?
If you finished it, you can turn it in. Yep. So, well, hang on. One sec.
Phone call.
Okay, this is your one warning before I'm gonna start putting check marks up this for you guys.
All right. So, once you guys have this pulled up, we did slide number 2. We talked about what we were doing. We're trying to figure out if King Tut was murdered or not. There's a lot of evidence that goes both ways, that he was murdered and that he wasn't. So nobody really knows. So we're kind of doing our own investigation right now. Slide 3, there's some information there, and you were to answer these questions. Slide 4, again, more information about some suspects. There's some more information you should answer questions on. Slide 5, more information, more questions to answer based on the suspects. Slide 6 is about his x-ray. So he was a mummy. They found his body, and they x-rayed him. And there's some different things that you did on this slide to answer the questions. A lot of these slides and the questions asked are your opinion. So, yeah. Slide 7, this is where we stopped, correct? Slide 7 is where we stopped. This is where they presented a side of the case where potentially he was not murdered and he just actually had a disease that killed him. And you were to answer the questions there. Now we are on slide 8. I'm going to get zoomed in on it. And we are going to talk about what the modern day belief is. So modern day means right now, what do we believe happened to King Tut? So I'm going to go ahead and read through this information. We're going to do the questions. We'll do that. We have what? Slide 8, 9, and 10 left. So we have 3 slides left with information. And then that Google document that's attached to the assignment as well, where you are going to tell me what you think happened to him. And you will explain what you believe happened to King Tut, if he was murdered, if he was just ill. So it's going to be your opinion, but yeah. So let's start with what is the modern day belief here. So in 2013, a renowned King Tut researcher, Dr. Chris Naunton, conducted an autopsy on King Tut's mummified corpse, and his results have put forward the most recent theory of what happened to the boy king. Naunton discovered something interesting when examining King Tut's body as a whole. He had a series of injuries down one side of his body. Tut had broken bones in his left foot and had a shattered left kneecap, as well as several shattered ribs and a broken pelvis, which is your hips. The fact that this all happened on one side of his body is a huge clue. Can you figure out what happened? Keep in mind what you already know, especially the x-rays that you have examined and the motives of Eye and Horemheb. So number 1 right here says, in this x-ray up here on the right, can you find the break in King Tut's right knee? Circle where you see the break. So this circle that's right here, move it where you see the break in his right knee. Now you need to think about it in terms of which side is his. That's what I was going to say. We have to figure out which one's the right knee. Let's see. Oh, it says there's an R and an L on here. You see the R right here? This is the right knee. We need to figure out where it's broken. Where do you see it broken? Above or below?
Above. Below.
Oh, do you see this big crack right here?
Yeah.
That would be the break in his knee. So circle that, please. Okay. Right there.
It's right there in front of your eyes.
Who's on?
Okay. So, you guys might want to pull it together. That's the break right there above. And then number 2, based on what was discovered by Dr. Chris Mountain, can you explain King Tut's injuries? So this is kind of your opinion. I want you to use some complete sentences. Okay, and this is your opinion. And answer that question. What can explain the injuries on one side of his body? I don't know. Write it down, Alex. Okay, so be typing here. I'm going to give you guys 4 minutes. Okay, be doing it and stop talking, please. I don't need you to answer everything I say.
Can we like maybe they threw him down and then they started kicking him on one side of his body?
If that's what you think might have happened, go for it.
No, this is what.
Hmm.
King Tut.
Egyptian mythology and Greek mythology and Roman mythology are all very, very similar. They're all kind of stem from like the same stories, but they all have different beliefs in how it all happened. So the stories are all changed just a little bit. That's where you get the myths, right? You have the Greek myths, the Egyptian myths, the Roman myths. They all kind of come from the same place, but are changed based on the civilization that talks about them. Mm-hmm. Okay, we'll do about 2 more minutes on this slide. Remember, if you don't finish, you can go back and finish it after. Okay, but this part is your opinion. What do you think can explain King Tut having injuries on just one side of his body? Yeah, you're probably gonna have to go back because this is a graded assignment. So if you missed it yesterday, yes, you need to go back and complete the other parts. It's very interesting though.
That they make their bones really tall.
This young kid kind of looks like they make their bones like really big.
Their
And just the horse is really weird.
Where are you looking?
Oh, on the next slide.
Oh, okay. I was like, I don't know what you're looking at.
There's like a picture.
Okay, about 1 more minute, and then we're gonna move on to our next slide.
What are those people in the background doing?
I don't know. I have not moved on to the next slide. I'm not looking at the picture. All right, let's go ahead and look at our next slide here. Slide number 9. On this one, we are still going to be talking about what the modern day belief is of what happened to King Tut. So I'm going to read this part to you, and we got a couple questions to answer below here as well. So we have, Dr. Mountain's findings that Tut had several injuries on his right side are startling, but he believes that they're easy to explain. Mountain claims that King Tut was killed in a chariot crash, which is interesting because we just read about chariots. Chariot races were very common in ancient Egypt, so this is not surprising. It is believed that something knocked the king off of his chariot, and while on his knees he was struck by another fast-moving chariot, thereby shattering his ribs, pelvis, foot, knee, and even skull as seen in all the previous x-rays. So that's what this picture is showing. King Tut is is he underneath there?
No, I think he's.
Okay, so he's riding it. He got like knocked off, and then another one came and hit him on his right side of the body. That could have killed him very easily, yes. So that is another modern day belief. Elijah, yes?
I wasn't sure. Wouldn't have other side broke because all the pressure on the other side was broke on.
That's possible. Elijah says that wouldn't the pressure of being run over by a different chariot crack the other side of him as well, like other bones? Yeah, that it would like compress his body and make he would break bones on both sides of his body, right? That's a good point. So maybe this isn't that accurate. Who knows? So let's look at our questions here. It says, number 1, what are your thoughts on this theory proposed by Dr. Mountain? Does this seem possible to you? Why or why not? So do you think it's possible he got ran over by a chariot? So use a complete sentence here. The sentence is, and this one is your opinion again. Please explain your answer. Don't just leave it as nope. I want to hear why. Why do you think no? Alex? Yes, you guys can say hi to her. Alex says hi, Miss Daphne. She might not be able to hear us. I don't know. I think she's on several meets right now. I know she's on there, but that doesn't mean she can hear us.
How is she supposed to get like on trouble?
Well, I don't know. She has them. She's in different teachers' Google Meets right now. She could be listening to Mrs. Mills' Google Meet and not ours right now. That's probably what's happening. Anyway, so number 1, do you think that that theory is possible that he got ran over by a chariot?
No.
Then number 2, does it say this? What factors could have caused him from falling from the chariot? It does not say what caused him to fall from the chariot if this is what happened. So this is going to be another your opinion. What maybe could have caused him to fall from the chariot? Think about people that didn't like him. Could they have caused it? Who knows? Okay, so your opinion on this one. And then number 3, is there anything that you have learned about King Tut's health that may have made it difficult to stand during the rough and bumpy chariot ride? What do we know about his overall health? What was wrong with him? He had a bone disease. How would that make it hard to stand on the chariot? So explain that. This one, you should be able to use the passages to answer. Use the paragraphs on slide. Let's see, that was slide. No. 7. Okay, so I'm going to zoom out a little bit so you guys can see all 3 of these. So you're working on numbers 1, 2, and 3 right now on slide number 9. I'll give you guys 5 minutes until 12:50 according to my watch. I mean, my watch is connected to my phone, so it uses whatever my phone is. Yeah, you just kind of have to let hiccups go and ride it out. Yeah, don't actually do that here. Do that at home. Okay, be working. Do I need to add another check mark up there for you guys? I don't know what number 10 says yet, so we'll see. Okay, about 3 more minutes on this slide.
I wonder if those bones were already cracking, and then like he just died in like that train race scene in the wash.
That is a good thought. You should write that down somewhere. Potentially on slip number 2, right there.
Chariot race is still on.
I mean, maybe in some places. I'll look it up.
Well, it says the horse have 4 legs.
Horses have 4 legs.
No, like on each side there's 2 of them.
Oh, that's because they're trying to make it
Why
so
don't you
like
use
other
extra
horses
horse?
buy it.
Yeah, look for.
Oh, I know why, it's because of 2 horses. Yo. What I've been trying to tell you guys. Oh, smart like that. No, he's cute. It's like that. That's for sure.
It's done.
On what?
That's not a picture of King Tut came out, but that's a picture of mine. That's a picture of like wild dogs or one thing. It looks like they just copied and pasted this.
On this slide?
Yeah.
It's not a picture of him getting ran over, no, but there might not be an Egyptian painting.
Yeah, but it looks like it's the same piece and everything.
I don't know.
Looks like they just added a bunch of things and just added them.
They could have. Who knows?
Why is King Tut the only brown guy and the rest are all black?
Right.
No, they're all black.
I don't know.
Did you make this?
No. Okay, about 1 more minute.
I honestly feel like a big picture.
I witnessed.
I'm not seeing anything about chariot racing still being around now. It sounds like the earliest or the late, like the closest they had was in like the 1920s. There was some chariot racing around, but it's not really around anymore. Yeah, it was 100 years ago. Yeah. Alrighty, let's go ahead and go look at our last slide here. Slide number 10.
I don't get how things could be like so long ago, like a long way from when it happened. But the Titanic.
I don't have an answer to that. It just the time periods move on.
Like it's
All right. Huh?
Didn't King Tut have any relatives?
No.
Why? Because his dad didn't have any relatives.
No. So King Tut was the last living relative of that bloodline.
So you're saying that he had no brothers and sisters or uncles?
Right. He had no brothers or sisters. His father didn't have any uncles or anything like, or brothers or sisters.
So it was it a whole entire bloodline? There was only child?
Basic. It seems that way. Yes.
Wait,
From what they can tell.
was there only one
So time was going backwards in this thing?
No, it was going forwards. It just counts the opposite direction. Okay, let's read this slide. What questions do you still have? It says, you have completed the case files for this investigation into the death of King Tut. Before writing your conclusion on what you believe happened to the boy king, take a moment to reflect on what you have learned. What questions do you need answered for you to feel confident in making your claim? Use the space provided to create at least 2 additional questions you have into this investigation into King Tut's death. Then conduct internet research to find the answers to those questions. So you come up with a question that you still have about King Tut's death. So what could be an example? What kind of question do you still have about it?
why was he so strong?
Where? Okay, actually, that's a good question. Where did his death happen? So you come up with your own question. You guys can use this first one. But then you need to come up and do an internet search. So research this question and find an answer. Okay. And then for the second one, you guys need to do a second question.
I know one.
Well, your own question, just write it out, and then research and find the answer. So this is kind of a slide where you're doing your own research. Like, okay, I still have this question about his death. I'm going to go find the answer. You need to have 2 of these answered. Okay? I'm going to give you guys 8 minutes on this slide until 1 o'clock. Because after this,
We're done.
kind of. We're going to go in a weird... That's not a question about his death. So no. Yes, it needs to be about his death, because why would you need to know anything else? You're trying to figure out if he died, how he died. No, you don't have to use my question. You can just, you need to have 2 questions there and find the answers to your questions. Yes, you can use the first question. Okay, got about 7 minutes on this one.
I'm still wondering about how he got killed.
This is National Geographic about King Tut's family secrets. Really? Yeah. No, I think they might be on.
Better watch it.
There might be.
How could you have a whole entire only child in that whole entire 2,000 years?
I don't know.
I wonder what
I'll look into it, but I have to watch those before I show them to you. So.
Can we watch them on our own?
on what YouTube? National Geographic?
Yeah, or nationalgeographic.com.
What about Disney Plus?
Disney Plus has a lot of National Geographic documentaries.
I want to read it.
Oh, that'd be cool, so cool. We watch on Disney Plus.
Maybe. Do this part, please. Do this part, please.
I wonder what he was killed with, or if that disease killed him. What do we do?
King Tut didn't have any children, huh?
No, he was only 18. He did not have children. That's why when he died, the other people took over because there was no living relatives to take over instead.
So anyone that was good, ancient Egyptian, wasn't related to King Tut?
He didn't have any relatives left to take over the throne when he died.
I still believe that.
What about his wife?
Women couldn't take the throne back then.
Oh, that's really good. They didn't even have a child.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It says King Tut married his father's sister.
Okay, about 3 more minutes, and then I'm going to show you guys the other part.
Sean, they were still born.
Huh?
They told me to kill King Tut's wife too.
Oh.
Because it says they can still been born.
Hmm. Possible.
Yeah, I can't get out of it.
Kind of feel bad for King Tut.
King Snake.
Okay, about 3 more minutes.
Its name is a cobra.
Okay. When you are done with this part, the Google Slides, don't turn it in yet. There is a little bit more to the assignment, so don't turn it in just yet. Keep this up before you are done. It's the Google Docs part. There is some writing you have to do with this as well. So don't turn it in just yet if you finish. Just get through slides 2 through 10 with all of your answers.
Okay.
If you are done, just sit tight for a few more minutes. If you're still working, keep working for about 3 more minutes.
Yeah.
No copywriting and stuff, yeah.
People on. That's why.
Maybe those are the people he killed and he put them on his cane to be like, I will push you every day.
What the heck?
I don't know, I just made that up.
It's cold and nasty.
Rick Jones, what are these thingies? Those thingies that.
It's the same.
No, that thing, those thingies.
Right now, King Tut, King Tut's wagon.
Even if you touch that? I can't see it.
Bro, it's right there.
I can't see it. Yeah, there you go. The shields are all big.
Look at the arrows. The arrows are big.
I can't see them. They're too small.
Oh, no, they're just.
Does that mean that someone could have dropped them?
Maybe. I don't know.
Look at King Tut's, wagon.
Alrighty. So I want to talk about the next part of the assignment really quick. So this part, slides 2 through 10, all have questions that need to be answered on it. All of these should be in complete sentences. You are 6th graders. You know how to write complete sentences. Should be complete sentences, please. Then, on the same assignment, you do have a part that's the Google Docs. So if you open up that Google Doc, there is a writing assignment attached to this. This is like your official, this is what I think happened to King Tut. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit on it.
Wait, can we turn it in, Marcus?
After you do this part.
Oh.
Yeah, you need to make sure you do this part too, because turning in just the, you can't turn in just the Google Slides. You have to do both of the assignments on there, the Google Slide and the Google Doc, and then you can turn it in. So, it says, the death of the youngest pharaoh in Egyptian history, King Tut, has always raised many questions. Until now, we have had a very few answers to explain the cause of his death. Now that you have analyzed the major evidence behind King Tut's demise, we need you to submit a report that shares your thoughts on what caused the pharaoh's death. Was it murder? Was it illness? Whatever you choose, be sure to fully explain your idea with evidence from history. Tyler?
You know, there's a curse on King Tut.
I believe it.
Yeah, it's like right here somewhere.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm looking at the images and the.
Your report, so the report that you type up needs to have an explanation, a really good explanation of at least 3 theories that explain the cause of King Tut's death. So they go over 3 things that might have caused his death. Explain them.
Okay.
Then you should have clear organization of your paragraphs with some different ideas, correct punctuation, and your proper grammar, please. And then you need to give your opinion on what caused the death. So this first part is the facts from the passages that you're giving me facts about, like, these are the 3 things that could have caused his death. The third part is where you're telling me, I think this is what happened. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I'd say 3 to 4 paragraphs, maybe 3 paragraphs here about the 3 different theories, and then a 4th paragraph about what caused the death of King Tut, what you think did it, your opinion. That's okay. Write as much as you need to write to get your ideas out. This is a really cool topic, I think, if you think he was murdered or not. No. Sorry. Now, you have plenty of room to type underneath here. Okay? But we do have a test to take first. So, what we're going to do, still following along online, still good? I think we're all still good.
Yes.
Okay, so what we are gonna do first, there is a quizzes that's going to be a review for the test that you're gonna take. So we're gonna do the quizzes. The test will go live, and you can take the test, and then you can do the writing assignment.
Okay.
Okay, so we're gonna start with the quizzes. I'm gonna say right now that the quizzes is very, very, very similar to your test. So I would pay attention when we review the quizzes. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna give you guys 2 minutes to get into the quizzes, no longer, so that we can get going. So here is the quizzes code. Please get logged in. Use your first name, last name. Just get logged in as quick as possible.
Yes. No.
I don't really care. I don't really care.
Bro, I'm an ugly pterodactyl. You're not avocado. Oh, I thought I was an avocado though.
All right, so we have 15 of you guys in. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 of you guys in here.
Hold on, I'm going.
And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we need about 18 of you guys in. Whose do I need to delete?
Yoshi.
Why do I need to delete yours, Yoshi?
Because my last name's Mom. It has a K at the end.
But it doesn't.
Oh, mine it says it has a K.
Well, it doesn't.
Here's one now. Yeah. Can you scroll down?
Okay, well, log back in. I am scrolled down.
No, mine goes blurred.
Okay. Take about 30 more seconds. Get logged in, please, and we're going to get going. It's a 10-question quizzes. It should not take you long. We will review it with the answers that should be correct. And then you guys will start by taking the Egypt test, and then you'll go finish the activities from this week that we did that maybe you did not finish.
You know what would be cool?
Hmm.
Having a nice background.
What? Yoshi, did you get back in?
No,
Hurry up.
I'm trying to slowly. Taking forever. Hopefully you don't get the avocado. I thought it was an avocado.
It's all guitar night.
Did anyone get the avocado? Yes. Yes, I got the avocado. Kaylin got the avocado. Oh man, never mind.
You're the independent one.
Yoshi.
What? I'm trying to get in. Ooh, she's trying to enter it.
The avocado is not even an avocado comfort.
Miss Jones, can you scroll down to the bottom for me?
No.
Yeah, see? I'm trying to start it. You might want to put in different names because it won't let you go. Should anyone get the actual avocado? No. I hate Mario.
Oh, it's bored of this sad rainbow in here.
Where?
Mario's best buddy, Yoshi.
No, I'm not. Can't find it. I
Oh,
hate
there it is.
Mario.
I thought he was so proud of you.
No, it's not a selfie.
But that was like, when I looked at it, I thought it said Tony.
Mark. I need to get the other. Do it again. 404 774.
Right.
4-4.
You left it.
There's no left or right. I'm not complete.
Or couple quizzes.
Well, I made
Yeah,
a
let me try my
quiz
quizzes real
myself.
quick. So you go on, get it. Add a letter or something.
I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah, I finally got it. Who's wanting by me? me. I was the last one that joined.
No, dear, I didn't.
David's gonna get in and then we're gonna go.
I'll be the second to the last one.
All right, here we go. 10 questions. Go. Yoshi, stand up. Okay, take your time.
I didn't press on it.
It's okay, just take your time. Hello. Yes, a few. 1, 2. Yeah, I don't have one.
I forgot I could put it. I got it.
If you have any doubts,
Okay.
why now? Log out of your computer and turn it off when you're in. Hey, stop talking over me right now, please. Those of you that have a Dell, turn it off, grab up your power cord, and walk over to them so you can exchange it. Thank you. This one.
Oh, we're gonna go over and run.
Mine's getting the phone.
I still don't think she's listening to you.
I don't get one. Then yeah, I think that's one.
Oh, that's that.
What is that one?
Good one.
What does that one have? Okay, we're good. Thank you. Thank you. No, we're gonna stop it really quick. I'm gonna review the answers anyway.
Bro, who is this?
But, you guys can get the computer turned on and make sure that you can get logged in. And then log into Google Classroom so you can still continue with the assignments we're about to do.
Oh, look at it. Now that's rewind.
Oh, no, now I have to re-log in for my project.
That's better. It's not free.
Look at Ronnie over there.
Okay, I'm giving you 3 minutes and then that's it.
Should I watch Ron here?
No, you can stay right there and do it.
Okay.
Guys, don't give her all the answers.
Oh, Roger, all that.
Sit down.
So Jada wins, he doesn't win. I would still consider myself a cheater if Jada gets like first, like the first she doesn't get.
Okay, I can still log into my. All my stuff. Dude, it's right there. Chef Ben. You gotta log into Google. Enter my name.
No, we're gonna get going with that over this.
I don't have a name.
Is it working?
Hey, Jada, you need it. You don't deserve it. I don't need it. You guys just have to make it over. He doesn't deserve it. He ain't got it first. He ain't got it first. See, but Elijah got it first, not Jada. No, because Elijah's not fourth. Look, he cheated.
Wait, take a seat. Everybody put this up here,
I
please.
can't take a seat.
Sit down now.
Okay.
All right, so we're gonna end it here and then we're gonna review this quizzes. Okay. Okay, do we need to add? Okay, so Lauren got third, Olivia got second, and I don't believe Jada got first because everybody was back there trying to help her. So, okay,
Those of you here, you two sit down and settle down, please.
okay, do I need to add another tally mark? Take a seat and focus, please. Yes. Now, the questions, we're going to review these. Okay, number 1, the flooding of the what river allowed the Egyptians to grow a variety of crops each year? That one is the Nile River. The Nile River is the major river that flows through Egypt. Okay, our next one. Rulers of ancient Egypt were called pharaohs. They are the pharaoh. That's just what they're called. Pharaohs. Number 3, schools were typically reserved for boys. Alex. You do not, girls were not typically allowed to go to school. It was boys that went to school. Like most ancient times, it was mainly boys. The next one, people who recorded contracts and court cases were called scribes. Charlie, guys, stop talking over me, please. Okay, can I continue now? Okay. Scribes. Those are the people that write things down. There were slaves back then, but they weren't the ones that were taught how to write. Translators and writers are, yes, a type of scribe, but that is not what they were called. They were called scribes. Yes, Elijah. They didn't train their slaves to write. There's a chance, yeah, but we don't know for sure. Our next one, papyrus was a plant that was used to make paper. It's just a plant that they would get wet and hammer and flatten out so that it would dry and they could write on it. Our next one, each of the following was used by Egyptians except what? They used breath mints because their breath smelled bad. They used an ox-drawn plow. That is one of the inventions we talked about. And they also wore wigs because they wanted good hair. We did learn it, yes. And then they did not have light bulbs. It is ancient times. They did not have light bulbs yet. Our next one, blank was often viewed as the most powerful Egyptian. We did not talk about this, which is why we're reviewing the test before we take the test. This one is the Ramses II. I don't even know who he is, so just get that one correct. What?
Did they used to have houses?
Yes. Our next one, blank was a female ruler, and she pioneered trade expeditions throughout the kingdom. This one is I can't say her name. Hatshepsut. Sounds good to me. We did not do an activity where we talked about the different pharaohs because we just didn't have enough time. So this is from that activity. So just keep it in mind. It's the one that starts with the H. Our next one. Children ran around naked until the age of 6. Up until they were 6, it was like totally acceptable for children to run around naked. The next one. Women could have all of these professions except for what? They were not allowed to be the priests for the temples. Men had that role typically. They were very typically maids, singers or dancers, or they ran the household. They were like a housewife. Yeah, they could still run the farms. They just... The men get the land and own it, but the women could run it. Yeah. Okay, and that's the last one. So now...
Did they say ancient languages?
Huh?
Did they say ancient language?
What about their language?
Did they speak ancient language?
I don't know what they spoke, for sure. So, if you reload your page, and then you go to social studies, you now have an ancient Egypt test. It is super, super, super duper, duper, duper similar to the ancient Egypt quizzes that we just took. So, your first step, it's behind me on my thing too, is to take the Egypt test that is on there. Then you need to make sure you finish the King Tut activity. That means the writing prompt that I gave you. If you finish the slides, make sure you go finish the writing prompt. So both of these should be done, the Google Slides and the Google Doc. And then the other thing that's graded is this ancient Egypt inventions that also needs to be done. So those are the 3 assignments for this week that are graded. So make sure that these 3 get done. Do we have any questions?
Yes.
What's your question? Then why do that? You have 10 minutes, technically 10 minutes of social studies left. So I'd like those of you online to stay on for those next 10 minutes and be working on these things. After that,